Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. Thanks for popping by to check out this process video, creating a layout for my niece using the Reminiscence kit called Soccer 2. So this is the soccer collection and it comes with 8 12 by 12 papers, 2 of each design and a coordinating sticker sheet. So I started by choosing 2 papers in the end, first the background paper and then one that I'm going to cut some stars out of using my scan and cut machine. And I used the Tim Holtz 3D embossing folder. This is the brick folder, and I spritzed it lightly with some water. This really helps the embossing folder to give a real depth of texture. So then I chose some distress oxide. So I had 5 colours that I chose: mustard seed, carved pumpkin, lucky clover, blueprint sketch and chipped sapphire. So I chose those to match the papers. And you can see I started here with the mustard seed. So I like to start with the lighter colour. And on the texture plate there, on the embossed card, I'm just blending it through. I had in my mind creating a kind of graffiti kind of wall with this colour palette. And so you can see I'm just blending the colours in and making sure that they blend in together, starting with the yellow, then onto the orange, and then onto the greens and the blues. So the next part of adding some detail to this embossed cardstock is I got a piece of card and used a craft knife to cut a brick shape, and then this gives you the perfect stencil to go in and add a darker colour. So here I'm using chipped sapphire and I'm just inking through that piece of cardstock to create some detail on the brick wall. So I'm just finishing off here, adding a few more dark textures to that wall, and then taking some water and dripping it on. This is a kind of bleaching technique, so it lifts some of the ink off the brick wall texture to reveal some of that white underneath, giving a bleach technique. And I really like using that technique just to add a little bit more detail to that embossed piece. So I just trimmed the edges. Some of them, the embossing didn't go right up to the edge, so I'm just trimming some of those rough edges off. And then this piece is going to form the map for my photo. So this background paper, which is from that Soccer 2 kit by Reminiscence, I used a craft knife just to cut around part of the circle of the football. And then that positioned the embossed wall piece just underneath. Now I thought the edges were a little bit too clean and a little bit too straight, so I took a distressing tool and tore and distressed the edges, really roughing them up and scuffing the edges up just to give a bit of dimension along the edge. I didn't want those edges to look too straight. So as I'm roughing them up and turning the edges up, I took some of the Lucky Clover Distress Oxide and I just re-inked the edges to create a kind of soft green inked edge, as well as some of that sort of torn and distressed paper look. So when I was distressing the edges, I was conscious that some of the edges would be tucked under the football. So I focused on the distressed edges that would be seen on the layout. And you can see tiny little tears, and just folding the edges back on themselves, and then extra ink just to make those stand out. So next came the assembling of the layout, and you can see here I'd positioned some of the stars and the footballs just to create a semicircle on that right hand side of the layout. So I lifted up the football that I'd cut with a craft knife and positioned the embossed brick inked paper, tucked that under the football, positioned those two photographs on top of the bricks, and then started to assemble all the ephemera pieces. So I started with the largest star, that's mounted on a foam pad, and then the footballs I'd used an EK Tools powder tool, and that removes the stickiness from the football stickers so that you can position them and only stick them down when you're happy with where they're positioned. So I'm just adding the final footballs and stars. I'm gluing those into place and tucking some of them under the photo, some of them under the stars, just layering them up in that semicircle on the right hand side. So then once the title was added, I took a few of the thickers hearts and positioned those, and these are 49 and Market strips, film strips that I had from my own stash, and they're in a Uncharted Mariner, that dark blue that I thought coordinated with this collection well. So I'm finally adding just a few more of the stars. These were cut from the Brother Scan and Cut machine. Just positioning those down, sticking the title down with wet glue, and the layout is nearly finished. So we're on to the final little details now. So on the sticker sheet there are some green grass chevrons. So I took 3 of those to stick under the film strips just on the left hand side. There are also some tiny little football stickers that I dotted around the layout as well. So just tucking these chevrons under the film strips just to add that little bit of extra detail. And then finally you can see these tiny little football stickers, just positioning some of those around that semicircle starburst on the right hand side, just to finish it off. So this last bit of detail takes some netting, which is actually from 49 and Market Sunburst collection, a kind of tropical beach collection. It's supposed to be a beach net, but I thought it really looked like the football nets to add behind the brick texture here on the layout, and a chipboard sticker just on the bottom. So the final little bit of detail is using yellow Dina Wakley gloss sprays, and to mirror the yellow splats of the background paper, I decided to just add some drips and splats of yellow onto the right hand side. So that piece of paper covers up the main part of the layout and protects your photos. So that's the layout finished. I hope you enjoyed watching this process video. We'd love you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this layout made a beautiful gift for my football mad niece. And once it was finished, I got a 12 by 12 black frame to mount the layout to be able to give as a gift. So thanks for stopping by, everybody, and I look forward to seeing some of your makes soon.